post-Twilight franchise, you're trying to go down different roads. Is this legitimately part of your planning?
This was not part of the plan at all. I thought I was totally oversaturated everywhere. I wanted to do little tiny parts, or maybe no parts at all. I got this 3 weeks before I was finishing the last Twilight movie, and I was really, really determined to find ensemble pieces or anything small, just so I didn't have to be in everybody's face and annoying everyone. And then this thing came up. Is this
a new experience for you, though, to watch a film back and go, oh, wait a minute, how do I promote this movie?
Oh, completely. I mean, it reminded me that there was this thing which I watched this interview with Ryan Gosling once, and he said about when he did The Believer, like a few years ago, and then people were saying, because he'd done Young Hercules for like 3 or 4 seasons or something, and then he did The Believer, and everybody's asking about his craft, and like it's the most confusing thing. I was in Cannes doing these interviews. I mean, I was really fighting to not look pretentious for years. And then someone gives you 1 inch of like kind of the possibility of being pretentious, and I was like grabbing it so hard and just going around being the biggest douchebag. But yeah, and now I've reined it in again.
The one thing that I imagine you're dealing with is, aside from your close circle of friends, actual humanity, actual human conversations, the connection that we all crave as a person. It's harder and harder for you to find, isn't it?
Yeah, but I just remember, I think I was pretty similar before. I mean, I'd be like one of those people who's desperate to go to a party, but then they go to the party and then they just stand in the corner with the people they came with and refuse to acknowledge that anyone else is there. Yeah, so I don't know, I don't really miss anything. And also, you kind of, you think, you have all these kind of fantasies that, oh, if I wasn't famous, I'd meet all these random people in the street all the time. But you don't meet random people in the street. I mean, most of the time you're trying to avoid everybody, even if you're not famous. I had this argument with Adele, which is probably the most ridiculous thing I've ever said. I was like, you can really just reach for it. And she's just like, you do realize I'm like the biggest selling female artist ever. And I just for some reason decided to get her into an argument with her about it. But
how does that happen? 2 o'clock in the morning somewhere, and you're let's have.
Yeah, and then
amazing.
Waking up kind of really, really regretting every way. So.
Do you think much about the fact, though, that when this franchise goes away, that you need that second act of your career? Do you think about that?
I mean, the only thing I ever thought about was thinking, I don't want anyone to think that I somehow got trapped by something, And I don't know if anyone really does, the general public, about Twilight and everything. But, I mean, the amount of times you get asked, like, oh, are you worried about getting typecast, blah, blah. I'm just worried about people saying, like, what happened to that guy? Like, I mean, and also, you think you want to do something at least a little bit worthwhile with what kind of power you've been given through luck. And not just chase after, not just keep trying to extend the same thing for as long as possible. I'm not very scared of it going away at all. So I don't know. I mean, if I could somehow maintain a career which I could keep making movies like Cosmopolis, then I think it'd be amazing. Because not very many of them are made. I always thought after The Dark Knight, for instance, like it makes tons and tons of money, and Heath's doing something which is just like it's outside. It's still perfectly, like, people understand what he's doing. It's not like he's doing something totally crazy.
Right.
But it's slightly outside the box of what people are usually used to seeing. And I really thought that was going to change everything about how big budget movies are made. But it didn't.
No.
And so I don't know. If every single actor wasn't afraid of trying to do something slightly abstract and not concerned about their movie making tons and tons of money, then eventually the industry would change.
But I mean, you and other guys in your position, can you make these kinds of films then? And not just as actors.
I think you can once. I don't know how many other times. I'm desperately trying to get a superhero movie now.
Are you really?